y'all, and welcome to today's video. I have this massive palette from Beaute Bar and Brittany Huffman and ELLIE STARR. This is a collaboration palette. I am excited. There's a whole collection here. I will link everything down below. I will put the release date, all of that, but today we're going to focus on the Best Mattes palette. I'm going to show you swatches. We're going to do some looks. We're going to have a good time. Let's jump into it. Alright y'all, this is the Best Mattes palette. It is a collaboration with Brittany Huffman and ELLIE STARR. It is launching on June 26th. I will put all the information I have about this palette down below in the description box so that you can check it out. This is a fully magnetic all matte palette. Let me show you a close-up and swatches of this palette. Of course, swatches don't tell you the true potential of a shadow, but it can be fun to see things swatched out. We're also going to put these on the eyes. I'm going to let you know my thoughts, give you maybe some inspiration. If you are interested in this palette, I'll let you know what I think. You'll have some tutorials. Maybe you're on a low buy, a no buy, you want to shop your stash. I hope that my looks can give you some inspiration, but I'm excited about this one. Beaute Bar has such a beautiful matte formula, and I really like having all these shades from the brand. These are really pretty. This is a magnetic palette, so if you don't like the layout, you can move these shades around. I think that's really nice. We also have this nice massive mirror in here, and when I first saw this palette, I thought this was really fun. It has kind of this chaotic layout, but if you break it down into quads, you can definitely get color stories that way. Maybe it won't be quite as overwhelming for you. Break it into quads, break it into rows, columns, whatever you think. I just really see a lot of really pretty quads in this palette, no matter which way you go. But I just want to create some looks with this. I want to play with this palette. I want to share with y'all. Now, I do have an affiliate code with Beaute Bar. It is Heather. I'm not sure if it's going to apply to this palette or not, but if you want to shop anything on the site, you can use my code. You definitely don't have to, just letting you know. I really like the outer packaging here, but I want to play with these shadows. I want to create some looks. Maybe we'll pull in some other shimmers. You can definitely create all matte looks if you want to, but I just want to play around. I want to have fun. I'm excited. Let me put on a little eye primer. Let me zoom y'all in and we will get started. Okay, so I've put on my primer and I want to create a look that's maybe a little more muted. So I'm going to start, whoops, let me move so you can see. We're going to start with this shade, and then I think we will move into this deeper, darker brown right here. But these are the two that I'm going to start with, these neutrally cool tones. Okay, so I've got this shade, that lighter shade, picked up on my BK Beauty brush. And I'm going to really just kind of buff that all over. Right here is my socket, so that's where I'm going to focus the color, but I'm also going to blend it up and out and down and around just like this. Okay, now I'm going into that darker brown, and I'm going to put it right here on the lid and then slowly start to blend it out. I just want it to be really dark right here, like halfway across the lid and out. And then I will slowly start to blend it out. I just don't want this depth to get away from me. So I'm going to take my time and I'll kind of layer it as I need to. I just don't want to add too much shadow. So I'm just going to go back and forth. And right now I'm using BK Beauty brushes. I will link them down below. But we also have a matte black in this palette, so I want to use that shade and go on the lower lash line. Okay, so I've got that matte black, and I'm going to keep this right up against the lower lash line. I'm just going to press this on and then blend like this, kind of back and forth. But again, I'm not going to blend it down too low because I want to buff it out with a different shade. Okay, so I'm liking how the look is coming together. Very kind of simple, neutral. So I used the matte black, but now I want to dip into this kind of like muted yellowy vanilla type color. I want to use this, and then I want to use this, which is like a deepened kind of brown plum shade. It pulls kind of purple. So those are the next two shadows we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to take the darker shade, that more purpley plum color, and I want to run this underneath the black. So I'm not going on top of it, just lightly underneath, so that we just have a little bit of that purple on the lower lash line, but it's not going to be too intense or overwhelming. I'm just going to take my time and go kind of back and forth right on this lower lash line and make sure I have a nice fade from the black to the dark purple. Okay, now I've got that kind of pale yellow cream type of shade. I just want to put this all on the lid. So if you want to keep this look completely matte, you can. I'm going to take this right here on the inner corner, and I'm going to make sure I have a nice little fade from this shade into that deeper, darker brown. And yeah, you can leave this all matte if you would like. Definitely just make sure that you blend and throw on your mascara and go, and you'll be good. I want to add just a little sparkle to this look though. Listen, I like to sparkle, and this collection, I know that they are releasing single shadows and liquid shadows and loose pigments. There's going to be several other things launching with this collection, but I only have the palette right now, so I'm going to pull in another palette to give myself a little sparkle. Okay, so I actually want to use the Oracle Chrome highlighter palette from this brand. I bought this palette because it's shifty, sparkly, multi-chrome highlighter, dual chrome highlighters. I'm into it. I love this. Honestly, one of the best things I've bought. I want to take this shade right here, the Moon. This is like a multi-chrome, and I just want to lightly tap it kind of over where we put that shade right here, this light shade, and I want to kind of tap it on the inner corner as well. And then I will also use it as a face highlight. Okay, so I'm just picking this up on a fluffy brush. I'm not going to spray my brush, nothing like that, because I just want this to be not opaque. I just kind of want to get the sparkle from this highlighter. So you can see I'm just tapping it on all over like this, really all over, like see under the brow, on the inner part, on the lash line, out. I want this to be like dispersed kind of sparkle highlight over the entire look. So if you want to keep it matte over here, you can do that. If you want to do like I do and add a little something, you can. But I'm going to throw on eyeliner and mascara, and I will be right back. Alright y'all, here is the finished look. I just took the same shade from the highlighter palette onto my cheeks for like a kind of matching glow. I really like this look. Like I said, I wanted to do something kind of neutral and muted, but still really pretty, just to show like kind of the versatility of this palette. I think it's pretty. Let me tell you that what else I have on. I'm wearing my MAC Sunstruck matte bronzer, matte in deep golden. The blush I have on is my Dior Rosy Glow blush in the Mahogany shade. I'm also wearing Lunar Beauty Cocoa Lip Liner with Icon lipstick. So that is how I finished off this look. I'm into it. It's not often I do such a like minimal neutral type of look. Usually when I go for neutrals, it's something like super duper bold. So I kind of had fun playing with this one. But I do have more to show you, so let's jump into that. Alright y'all, for this look, we're going to be, of course, starting with a ton of mattes from the Best Mattes palette. I am going to put down my eyeshadow primer. I'm going to start with my Sigma eyeshadow base in the shade Ignite. And these colors are so fun. I think what I'm going to do is kind of start with this like neon pink down here. I'm really excited about the neons in this palette, so we're going to play with some of those. Okay, y'all, for this look, I really want to experiment with the neons in this palette, and I want to try those over like a white eyeshadow base. But first, I'm just going to prime my eyes with my like normal eyeshadow primer, a favorite, my Sigma Ignite base. And looking at this palette, I just want to start with maybe one of the lighter to mid-tone shades. So I think we're going to start with this really pretty pink down here on this like second to bottom row. Okay, so I went ahead and put on my primer. I'm going to look down into my mirror and I'm just tapping over my eyeshadow primer to make sure I don't have any creases or anything. And then pigment, we love to see it. We love to see it. This pink shade is so pretty. This is almost a neon itself, or maybe you would call this a neon. This is gorgeous, bright pink. So I've got this on my Sigma brush, and you can see first I kind of like tapped the shadow on like this. All like, here's my socket. I'm going below my socket, above my socket. I don't care. We're gonna cover up the lid in a bit anyways. But right now I'm just going to slowly kind of blend. This is a large palette, so I want to use as many mattes as I can in this video so I can kind of test them and let you know, is this the amazing matte quality that we've seen from Beaute Bar in their last palettes? I mean, I expect it to be, because both of the collaborators on this palette are so talented with their eye looks, like so talented, next level. So I'm expecting these to be amazing shadows. But of course, I have to see for myself so I can let y'all know. I'm just, wow, so impressed with this pink. And I really, really like too that this palette is magnetic. For me, personally, I don't mind a big palette. I like small palettes, tiny palettes, quads, large palettes, mid-size palettes. Like, I love it all. But if you are somebody who just likes smaller palettes, it's so nice that these pans are fully magnetic, so you can make a custom palette. You can put this into a smaller palette if you want to and just do your own little color story. I just think that was really nice, really thoughtful. But anyways, I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I've just been talking and blending. Okay, we're gonna keep this bright look going. I'm gonna grab this brush from my Sigma set, and we're gonna dip into this really pretty shade right here on the second row, third one over. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna press this right up against my lower lash line. So I'm gonna press first so that I can just get all the pigment I want, because I want this to be intensely pigmented. And then once I have it like pressed on like that, then I'm going to go back and forth blending like this, back and forth, back and forth. These colors look so cool together. I'm definitely going to do some more blending, but I love these shades together. I want to add some depth in the outer corner. Now, there is a black in here, and I'm fighting the temptation to go into the black. I just love a black eyeshadow, y'all, but I'm gonna play with this shade. So right next to the shade that we went on the lower lash line, this kind of like second shade in the second row. Okay, so I'm just going to press this. That's what I want. That is what I want in a deep dark shadow. I want it to be pigmented. I want it to be pigmented, and there is pigment. Now let's see if these will blend. So I'm just going to lightly start to blend. I don't want this dark shade to get out of control though. I just want to keep it right out here in this outer corner. So I'm gonna take my time doing very small blending motions so that it doesn't like get blown out and get away from me, because I really don't want to lose this like bright pink right here. So right now I'm just going to press it on like that. It's coming down to the lash line right in here like this. That's pretty. And then I'm going to go back with the brush we used for the first pink shade, pick up just a little bit, and I'm going to blend out like this. Instead of like just working with that brush with our deep shade, I'm going to go back to the mid-tone shade, like I said, so that I don't like add too much of that dark shade and let it overpower our look. I just want to keep it right out here. Okay, now I want to play with the neon shadows, but I want to layer them over a white eyeshadow base. You don't have to do this, but it definitely helps neons, pastels, really light, bright shades that have that like white base to them. It helps them really pop. It's gonna be fun. So the one I'm gonna use is the NYX Matte Paint in White Frost. I'm gonna use this, and whoops, listen, I always knock stuff over. It is really a problem. I'm not Style and Grace, and that's not me. I'm looking at this palette though, and I'm really attracted to this like neon pinky shade that was right under this one that we used in the center. We definitely have like this shade that's a neon that would be pretty. We have this yellow that's a neon that would be pretty. Like these kind of minty shades over here. Like we have options, but ever since I saw this palette, this shade has been calling to me, and I feel like it's kind of unique. So I'm gonna put down the white base from NYX, and then I'm gonna pack that matte shadow on top. Okay, so I figured I would just show you how I'm putting down that white base. I put down some, and as I was mixing it, it was kind of like mixing with the pink shadow that I'm going on top of. So I'm just adding a little bit more, and I'm just trying to get it like as smooth as possible. This brush is from Unearthly Cosmetics, and you can see I'm taking this higher than my lid. So like my socket is right here, and I'm taking it up, up, up. I really want this white base to be here for these neons. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. It's still drying right in here, so I might have to tap out some creases in a second. But side note, this looks cool, right? Like I could definitely take the white shadow from this palette. Like I could take this is a little lighter than white, or I mean a little deeper than white, like it's more of a cream color, but I could really take any of these shadows and set this into place and be done and have an all matte look. I just don't want to do that. I want to play with some other shadows, but listen, do that, have an all matte look, beautiful. I know so many of y'all love all matte looks, but I am ready to go into our pinky shade right here. Okay, so I want to use this neon pinky shade. Oh, that's pretty. I've got this on my Sigma brush, one from my favorite set, and I'm gonna pack it on the lid right in here. Oh, that's so pretty. And then I'm going to bring it on the inner corner. So I put that white base on the inner corner too, because I really wanted this to be neon, and that is like, that is so cool and pretty. Oh, I really like that. Like, that is so fun. Okay, so again, I could keep this a matte look, but I just love sparkle, shimmer, all the things. I say it all the time. I am a raccoon at heart. Anything shiny, I want it. Even tinfoil, I'm like, yes. I want to add in some sparkle. So I'm just going to grab out my Strange and Unusual palette from Beaute Bar. Now I will say, if you get this palette, well, actually, I don't think I've seen that they've updated any formulas, but this is from last year, and I do know that the mattes in this palette that I got last year are different from their new matte formula, just FYI, but I'm not grabbing the mattes in here. I want to add a little sparkle. So in between where we have this neon pink and this deeper outer corner, I kind of want to fade in a little bit of sparkle. So I want to grab this and I want to go into Afterlife, this really, really beautiful multi-chrome. And I'm just going to pick that up and put that kind of right where you can see that white base. I'm going to buff this in right there. Okay, so I picked the shadow up on my brush, and then I just sprayed my brush with a little makeup mist, setting spray, whatever is cool. And that's beautiful. I just wanted to add a little sparkle. I just needed to. Now I know with this collection, there are like some single shadows and some pigments and some liquid shadows launching for that sparkle, which I love. I just don't have those. I just don't have them, so I'm kind of like shopped my stash. And y'all know, like, listen, I say y'all know, but maybe I haven't been here. Maybe I haven't been here forever. I love the Strange and Unusual palette so much. I was already really enjoying the products that I had tried from Beaute Bar when I got the Strange and Unusual palette. And it sent me over the edge. It sent me into the love obsessed category with the brand. I mean, that palette I think was like, I know it was in my top 10 palettes of the year from last year, because I find the color story to be so fun and inspiring. But like, I love that palette, and I feel like the brand has just continued to get better and better. But this palette still remains one of my favorites. I really like that sparkle and shift on the multi-chrome. Yeah, I feel like there in the mirror you can see some of the shift. Not as strongly as I would like, but listen, I have a whole video on that palette with swatches and everything where I'm showing off the multi-chromes, so definitely check it out. But I have to say, these mattes, I feel like impressed is an understatement. Impressed is an understatement. Now I am going to make sure I blend like where we started with that first pink a little bit. Want to make sure I get a nice blend out here in the outer corner. But I just want to use a couple of the other mattes so I can continue to kind of get a feel for them. So on the lower lash line, I think I'm just going to kind of like buff underneath with this neon yellow. Now it's not going to be as intense as like up here, because I'm going to put it on top of like my already set under eye. So I've already set with powder and everything under here, but I'm just going to use it to kind of like buff this shade out, give us a little more dimension with that other shade. And then right along up here, not necessarily as high as like the arch in my brow up here, but just right in here, I want to go into another shade to kind of like buff things around. Not that I need to, like the blend is nice. I just want to test more shadows, so I may as well go in with this really pretty cream shade just to kind of like allow us to test some more shadows, you know? Okay, so I'm just picking up a little bit of that cream matte And I'm just going to lightly kind of diffuse things right out here. That's pretty, just give me a little something something, and I'm going to make sure I don't lose that first pink that we started with. I'm just taking my time blending. I'm just having a good time playing with makeup right now, honestly. I'm not in a rush. I wanted to create something fun. All right, and then I've got a little bit of that neon yellowy green type of shade. I feel like it looks yellow, but then I look at it and I'm like, well, maybe it's more green than yellow. But it's kind of one of those shades that can be either. Is this like a Lisa Frank inspired eye look? I think so. Wow, that is really pretty. So you see how I have that kind of blue teal shade, and then where the two shades meet, it's kind of transformed and blended into this like green right out here, and then it fades into the neon kind of yellow shade, but very lightly, like it's very subtle. But I really love using two shades on the lower lash line for that. I just feel like it looks, I don't know, it just gives an eye look a little more dimension, you know. But I think that this is going to be our finished look. I need to do the same thing over here. I just started talking to y'all and blending and didn't want to stop to like do the same thing again, but I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to throw on a liner and a lash. I need to choose a lip color. I need to put on a face highlighter. Okay, so before I put on the liner, here is the look. All right, y'all, here is the finished look. I am so impressed by the shades that I used. Now, I only used 6 shades for this look, but the neons, the mid-tone shades, the deep dark shade, like, every matte, beautiful. I really like this look. Like, I feel so good in this look. I feel like, I don't know, I'm getting like under the sea neon type of vibes. Like, oh, I just love, 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 love this look. Every shadow performed so well. Makes me so happy. It really, really does. I just really feel great in this look. I will tell you what else is on my face, just in case you're curious. And of course, I will also put it in the description box. I did use a black liner up top, and I just put on a small half lash. I didn't want something to kind of overpower the color that we have going on. I just wanted a little bit of half lash. I put on my LA Girl Fresh in the lower waterline. For blush, I actually bought this blush recently from Sephora. This is their Colorful Matte Blush in shade 51. So this like cool tone purpley pink shade. I'm wearing my Give Beauty bronzer. I did not use the cream side. I just used the powder side. This is Smokin. And my lip is ColourPop. It's the lip liner in Jealous Much, the lip liner from the Snow White collection. I think this was part of the Evil Queen's like lip collection or whatever. And then I'm wearing a Half Magic Mouth Cloud in Angel Rave. Yes, Angel Rave. And then I went on with their gloss from Half Magic in Frosty. This is their Magic Drip Gloss. I just really feel great in this look. Like, I really, really feel great in this look. I hope that you enjoyed watching this. Okay, so I put down my Sigma Ignite eyeshadow primer. Just gonna make sure I don't have any creases. And we're gonna start with this kind of minty green all kind of right here in my socket, and I'm gonna take it up higher than the socket too. So I'm using my Singe Beauty brush, and I'm just gonna sweep this on kind of back and forth like this. Okay, the next shades I want to pull in for this look are this shade right here on the top row, and then I also want to dip a little bit into this purple right down here next to this neon pink. Okay, so I'm taking that first shade and I'm going to put it right here on this front part of my lid. So I'm just going to press it right on top of my eyeshadow base right there, kind of fade it in, and then just bringing it up just a little bit so that we have a nice blend into that green shade. Okay, now I'm going to take that purple shade and I'm going to put this on the outer corner, pressing it on right here to the lid and then blending it up. And then I'm also going to pull this same shade down around to the lower lash line, just like that. Really like these colors together. This is working so well. Okay, I want to go in with this really pretty yellow right up here on the top row. I want to do a matte inner corner highlight because we're going to use some shimmer sparkle duochrome goodness on the center of the lid. So I'm going to keep the inner corner matte. Okay, now I'm not putting down any eye primer or anything like that because I just want this to give us some lightness, brightness right in here. That's really pretty. I'm gonna have to try that shade layered on top of a white base too for when I want it to be intense. But right now it's giving me exactly what I wanted it to give me for this look. Good grief, the mattes in this palette are like so good. Okay, I'm grabbing my Angles of Illumination palette. This is an all duochrome palette, I believe, from Bella Beaute Bar. And I want to go into this shade right here called Orion. I do have a video on this palette as well if you're curious about it specifically. But for the looks that I'm doing for y'all, I really wanted to just like do the mattes with this palette and then show you like how to pull in shimmers from other palettes. Of course, you don't have to. You can do some all matte looks. I just love shimmer and sparkle. So I am going to take a little bit of my shimmer stay and I'm going to put this right in the center. I'm going to tap this in and then I'm going to push this duochrome Orion. Oh, I hate using my fingers. Let me get a brush. Okay, so I'm going to press that right in the center of these mattes where I kind of left blank space, and we'll press this on and then kind of blend. All right, so I'm going to press. Oh, that looks so pretty. I really like this color combo. I think this is a lot of fun. I'm gonna see if I need to do any more blending, and then I'm going to do liner and mascara, but this is our finished look. This is the look. I think this is so pretty. But yeah, let me throw on mascara and all, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you kind of my thoughts on this palette. All right, y'all, here is the finished look. I just put on a little bit of ColourPop Joyride in my waterline, and I decided not to do any liner up top, just put on some mascara. I am wearing on my lips the ColourPop Ultra Blotted Lip. This is their new formula. This is Doozy. For my cheeks, of course, I'm wearing one of my favorite highlighter palettes of all time, Oracle Chrome Highlighter Palette. And I'm wearing these two shades down here, the Star and the High Priestess. I am wearing my Blend Bunny Bare Cheeks blush palette. And let's kind of talk about this palette, the Best Mattes palette. I had a lot of fun with this. I think the formulas in here are incredible. Now, I've been playing with this with like y'all filming it. I've been playing with this like not filming it, really like testing these shadows, but there are still a few shades that I have not worn on my eyes yet, so I will definitely be following up probably in a couple of weeks after I've tried every single shadow on my eyes, and I'll let you know like my full review then. But I will say every single shade I have used so far, absolutely beautiful. This palette is amazing, honestly. I have loved every look I've done with this. I have really enjoyed playing with it. They are pigmented right out of the gate as soon as you use them, but they are also very easy to blend. They layer well on top of one another. Just overall a really beautiful formula. I think it's super special that these pans are magnetic, so you can move them around, create a custom layout, create custom palettes if you want to. I had a lot of fun like pulling in other shades from my collection, like multi-chromes, duochromes, things like that. Again, there are other items that are going to be available in this collection. I'm not sure if my affiliate code will work, but you can use code Heather on most things on the Bella Beaute Bar site. And finally, now that I have played with this palette, I would definitely purchase this. If somebody took it from me, they ran off with it, I would be on the site with an alarm set to buy this because these mattes are so beautiful, and I feel like they just inspire me to do some really fun color combinations. So huge congratulations to ELLIE STARR and Brittany Huffman for doing such a beautiful matte palette. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, my videos are never here to convince you to buy anything. Never. If you were curious about this palette, you were thinking about buying it, I hope that my video helped you maybe make a decision. If you're on a low buy or a no buy, maybe you can shop your stash, see what you have. Maybe you're not into makeup and you're just hanging out. I hope that you had fun hanging out with me. I had a lot of fun creating these looks. I hope you're having an amazing day. Please do subscribe. I have lots of videos coming, and when you hit subscribe, make sure that my videos show up on your subscription feed. Share this video with anybody who you think would enjoy my content. I appreciate it so much when y'all share, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye!